Tree Talking Time is brought to you by Conkeys Outdoors. Get all your hound hunting needs at conkeys.com. Welcome to Tree Talking Time, where we talk all things tree dogs, from the smallest feists to the largest hounds, treating squirrels to bears and everything in between. And from time to time, we might even run a little fast game. Need reliable housing for your animals? Animal Housing Solutions in Mayo, Florida builds custom coops, kennels, and shelters that are strong, durable, and designed with your animal's comfort in mind. Whether you need a large-scale kennel or a small custom chicken coop, they've got you covered. Quality craftsmanship, great service, and solutions built to last. That's the Animal Housing Solution promise. Check them out at Animal Housing Solutions on Facebook. Animal Housing Solutions, where your animals come first. Your dogs deserve the very best, and that's exactly what Elite Nutrition Canine Products delivers. Packed with premium ingredients and backed by science, their formulas are designed to boost energy, support joint health, and keep coats shiny and strong. Whether you've got a working dog, a hunting partner, or just a loyal best friend, Elite Nutrition gives them the fuel they need to thrive. Don't settle for ordinary. Choose the nutrition your dog deserves. Find Elite Nutrition Canine Products today and give your dog the Elite Edge. Go to shopeliteglobal.com and use the code TREE10 on your next purchase.
So we went squirrel hunting this morning. I'm here with my good friend Corey. We've met a few times. I guess this is the second time I've come over here and hunt with you, but then we've talked on the phone several times, and we met through a mutual friend, Mike.
Yes, sir.
And so we went out this morning, and I'll let you introduce yourself.
Okay, my name's Corey Dick. We were hunting Appalachian Ellie Mae this morning. I'm pretty new to the breed of curs and feist and squirrel dogs, but I've been hunting tree dogs for about 13 years, and just absolutely fell in love with these little meat dogs.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the direction I want to go. So, yeah.
I know you said you wanted to do something, so
yeah. If we're gonna, I'd like to start this off with a prayer, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
And here we go. Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you for this day. All the blessings that we get that we absolutely don't deserve, but we get by your grace. Thank you for the dogs that we hunt, the friends that we meet along the way. Ask that you just continue to bless us, keep us safe. While we enjoy your great creation with the dogs that we love, and I hope that we can glorify you in some way while we do it. In Jesus' holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Now I've hunted with some good guys, and been to some great events, and I love it when start with prayer.
Good.
Prayer and a pledge of allegiance. You can't go wrong.
Nope. The good Lord and the United States, man. It's
yep.
We got to be grateful.
100%. So Ellie Mae is a mountain cur.
She's a mountain cur on paper. Yeah. I think there's a little bit of feist back there somewhere. She's just a little thing, but yeah. She's a mountain cur, and the first one I've ever had. Mm-hmm. I was a hound guy that went to the curs. So.
Well, let's start with then. How did you even get into hounds? Because you've got a crazy long history with doing all kinds of things, and before we even get into the hounds, I want to know about you. I know this because, like I said, I've known you for a few years now, but you were a commercial fisherman.
I was. I lived for. I'm only 43 years old. I guess I've lived kind of a colorful life up until this point. I traveled a lot, mm-hmm. So my dad was military, born overseas. We kind of settled here in PA, and this is where the family was from. My mom and my dad. But I was a bad kid. I didn't grow up. I grew up hunting, but not with dogs. Mm-hmm. There was a gentleman that lived close to me that had hunting dogs, coon hounds, and I'd gone with him and really liked it. But didn't have any dogs of my own. Didn't really get into hunting. Just was more into partying and just being a rambunctious teenager. And it kind of got out of hand to the point where I said, I need to leave this area. And that's what led me to Alaska, to be a commercial fisherman, because I knew I was up to no good here. And I'd heard about the job up there, and it was appealing to me. So I ended up, this was when the internet was still pretty fresh and new, and I would get on there and try to find job boards where guys were looking for deckhands. And nobody would give me a job because I didn't have any experience on boats. So I offered to fish for free for my first summer salmon fishing for a captain out of Seattle that fished area M in Alaska. And he took me up on the offer, and I went up and fished for free my first year. And you make connections as you're there, you learn. And I came back after that season, went back the next season, and never left for another 7 or 8 years after that. So that's what led me to Alaska. I ended up moving back home. My father got sick, and I was married up there and got divorced, and ended up moving back home and reconnected with an old friend who dated the daughter of the man who had the coon dogs that I was telling you about. And he ended up getting coon dogs of his own, and I would go hunting with him. And I think in all the nights we ever hunted, we might have treed one coon. But I still loved it. Yeah. I enjoyed it. And so that led me to go get my very first pup, which was a little blue tick pup, which I still have. She's creeping on 14 now. And that's Daisy that you just saw up in the kennel.
I thought you had a male dog that was your first dog.
No, Daisy. So it's kind of a funny story. The male wasn't my first.
Okay.
And the male was Daisy's dad.
I guess because he was her father, I assumed you got him first.
Right. Yeah. So, no, what happened was I got her and knew absolutely nothing about how to start a dog.
Mm-hmm. Obviously.
It's debatable if I even do now, but she was a natural. She made it easy. She treated her first coon at 6 months old before I ever showed her a coon. I took her to the woods. It wasn't even dark the whole way that night. It was early, and I cut her loose, and she went in about 40 yards and stood up on a tree and started yipping. I thought, surely she don't have a coon or nothing up that tree. And then I could see the coon climbing, and I was like, wow, that was just great. And so she made it easy. Mm-hmm. All I had to do with her was put her in the woods, and she hunted. She did well. And I guess at the time I thought they were all going to be that easy, which, as you guys all know, is not the case.
You've since learned.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But that's what got me into the dogs. I had so much fun with her. And she actually got me into squirrel hunting, too, by accident.
Okay.
So I wanted her to range out farther at night, probably sooner than she should have been, because of course I didn't know anything. And so I would take her to the woods through the day just to get her more used to being out there, and thought maybe that would help. Well, she just started treeing, and I would look up the trees and there'd be squirrels. So take a 410, I started shooting some squirrels out to her.
So you just started squirrel hunting
I started squirrel hunting.
Your coon hound.
I sure did. And everybody told me not to. They said, "Oh, you don't want to do that. She won't. You'll be treeing flying squirrels at night. They'll do this. They'll do that." And I'm sure there's truth to that. She has treated some squirrels at night, but it was rare. She just seemed to know that squirrel was day and coon was at night. Mm-hmm. And I loved it, so I just kept hunting her on both. But I kind of liked the squirrel hunting better.
Okay.
There's not I don't know if we're in thin coon, but it certainly isn't thick coon here.
Yeah. We're not the Midwest.
No. And it's all mountain ground that I hunt. Mm-hmm. So they got to get out there, and it's not like you're just going to cut them down a corn row, small patch of woods, where the coon are at. They got, they could be anywhere. And, but for squirrels, it just, there's a lot more action for me. Mm-hmm. So daytime, like that. I still love coon hunting. Don't get me wrong. I coon hunt Ellie. But squirrel hunting is kind of my favorite. And I want to gear towards meat dogs. I just like a good dog I can take day or night and will tree game.
So if Daisy was your first dog. How did you end up with her dad?
Oh, yeah. So I got Daisy turned out so well. I got a hold of the people that I got her from and said, hey, if you have another litter, I'd love to have another one of these pups. Unfortunately, they had a house fire. And so whatever trouble that caused in their life, which was devastating to have a fire, they had to get rid of Daisy's mom and dad, which was Dugan and Dixie. And but they wanted them to stay together. They were just two bonded dogs. And I said, I'll take them both. And they didn't want any money for them. They just wanted them to stay together and go to a good home. Mm-hmm. And so I went up and picked them up, brought them home, started hunting both of them. Dugan turned out to be a pretty darn good dog. I think he was a little over 2 when I got him. Good to my standards, Yeah. He was not a world beater. Wouldn't call him a comp dog, but I did put him in a couple UKC hunts, and he won the first one he was in. He won his cast, I believe, on the second one, but not the hunt. And then I didn't keep competition hunting him. I just did it to experience it. I'm not a competition hunter by any means. But that's how it came about. I ended up getting a pup and then getting her mom and dad.
Okay.
But that was the foundation of me getting involved with dogs.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. Dugan has since passed, and Dixie as well. Dixie actually just this past years we had to have her put down.
Oh, wow.
But they've all lived pretty good long lives,
For sure.
But yeah, so like I said, I got into squirrel hunting kind of by accident, just trying to get a coon dog to go a little further and get used to the woods. But
so then, in between, obviously the 3 blue ticks and Ellie, was there anything between them and Ellie?
Between the blue ticks, I had not tree dogs.
Okay.
I decided I wanted to rabbit hunt, but I didn't want to run a pack of beagles. Sometimes said I want just one beagle that'll do it all on his own, and I just want to I had some orchards by me that I had permission to take him to, and didn't really matter to me if I was shooting rabbits or not. I just wanted a dog I could take and chase some rabbits with, and found a little blue tick 13-inch class beagle that had already been in a starting pen and started in Virginia. That was for sale, and I really liked him because he looked like a miniature blue tick hound. He wasn't one of the blue ticks that had a little bit on him. I mean, he was dark. He looked like just a beautiful dog. And went down and bought him, brought him home. Taz, that's what we called him, Taz. And he had heartworms when we got him, which obviously I didn't know when I bought him, but he would run rabbits. I'd take him. He was slow to do it. He had to do it all on his own, but it was kind of nice because when the rabbit would come by, it would only be like 30 feet in front of the dog, and if you wanted to shoot it, it wasn't under a bunch of pressure, know. I ended up getting him treated for the heartworms. First treatment didn't work. Had to do it twice. Spent thousands and thousands of dollars, and then he ended up losing into some health problems. But other than that, Ellie was the next dog that I bought. I did have a litter out of Dugan and Dixie.
Okay.
After I got them, and I kept a male to start. I only had that litter because another guy wanted Dugan to, as a stud, and it didn't work out. And then he wanted a pup. It was convoluted. I just said I'll have another litter with Dixie. So she had 2 litters of pups. The first was that Daisy was out of with the previous owners, and then I started one of the males. I ended up sold him, but I didn't keep any of them.
Gotcha.
They did turn out okay from the couple that I kept up with. They turned out to be decent dogs. But I really, really had a hankering to get into the squirrel dog world.
Okay.
More. And not with a hound.
Yeah.
Just, I didn't know much about feists, curs, Lycas, all these other breeds that get squirrel hunted. And I did some research, and one name that came up all the time was Alan Franklin.
Oh yeah, especially we're from PA, so
Yeah.
Ohio, PA, West Virginia. That is a very common name.
Yes, sir. And very well respected in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up reaching out to him, and I don't know if he would remember this, but he said, I don't have any pups for sale, but I know a guy that has a couple pups on the ground, and told me about Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And got a hold of Mike. He had just the male, had Ellie and a male left. One didn't want to sell Ellie, was okay to sell the male.
No. So before you got her, I saw her as a puppy, and I took pictures of the male that he ended up, the male that like to post for sale. Like,
Mm-hmm.
So, yep, I stopped in at his house on my way back from bear hunting in Michigan and saw that litter of puppies when they were probably 6 or 7 weeks old.
Okay, so you met Ellie before I did, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he wasn't too keen on selling her, and I wanted a female, and I offered him, I think I told him $100 more than whatever he was normally charged, and he hesitantly agreed. I talked to him the next day to confirm a time to come out there, and he was kind of going back and forth whether he should. I was going to go out there on a Saturday, and he's like, well, I said, I'll be there tomorrow. So I hurried up, went out there, and got her before he could change his mind. I think she was 3 months at the time, 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
Brought her home. I caught a squirrel, put the trap in a tree by the driveway, took her out. She treed it, and just started taking her for walks in the woods. And she just hit the 4-month mark. I only had her a couple of weeks, and she started treeing squirrels on her own.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. I thought, wow, I guess this is easy, That
hooked you.
It did hook me. I made a lot of mistakes, I think, with her because I was used to hounds. I don't say a lot of mistakes, but I made a couple. Wouldn't tie her back to the tree. I'm so used to my hounds, I never had to. They weren't leaving the tree.
Yeah.
She was a little loose on the tree. But again, I'm not a comp hunter, so it didn't bother me too much. But I still wanted to make her as good as I could make her. With some advice from other people, and yourself included, made some changes of how I was hunting her, and the rest is history. She's not a world beater, but she's a good, solid tree dog. I can hunt her day or night.
Mm-hmm.
She'll if it climbs a tree, she's going to try to tree it.
Yeah.
That's. I like that she hunts with her nose. You do get a few more dens than you want to see sometimes, but for me, I think that helps her at night to be a decent coon dog. But yeah, she's 3 years, almost 4 years old. I think she's about 3 years, 9 months old now. And I absolutely love her, man. I'm in love with the breed, but it's not just the breed. She looks more like a Feist than a Cur.
She does. She's a little bitty.
Yeah, she's 27 pounds.
Okay.
She is 27 pounds. She's never been an ounce more than 27. She's getting hunted hard. She's probably about 25 pounds, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
2 pounds doesn't sound like much, but it is.
on a little dog like her, it is.
Yeah, but she's gritty, She's grittier with a coon than when she is with a squirrel, as you saw this morning. I mean, you knock a squirrel out to her, if it's alive, she's going to get bit because she plays with it.
Gotcha.
You knock a coon out to her, it's
game
boom.
on.
It's game on. She don't waste no time.
That's funny.
She finishes it, and I just could never understand that. I'm like, how is it that you can handle this coon with ease, but every squirrel that's not dead when it hits the ground puts a hole in your lip,
Yeah.
But it doesn't hurt her. She seems to. She likes it. She wears her scars proud.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So you kind of said like you're looking to kind of transition more towards the cur dogs, or the cur and Feist side of things.
Yeah, I am. not dead set on one or the other. But yeah, I like a good meat dog. It's just for the area I live, the mountains I hunt, the schedule I work. I like a dog that I can take day or night and just hunt.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not an anti-comp hunter. I've been in competition hunts. I've had her in competition hunts. But I don't want to gear a dog just for that, you know, for me. There's nothing wrong with it. Just for me personally, I'm a pleasure hunter at heart. And I just want to get a good line. It can be mixed. It can be cur and feist mixed up together. For me, you know, I just want a good gamey little dog that I can hunt and enjoy. So.
At the same point, you know, you said you're not a big competition hunter. It's not like we have a ton of competition hunts in this area. Like, so if you're going to go to a competition hunt, you're looking to do some traveling. Like, the closest competition hunt to you is for a cur dog, I would imagine, is, I don't know,
Western PA.
Yeah, Western PA, which is probably still a couple of hours.
Oh yeah. I think it's actually out by. I don't remember the name of the town. I think they had the state WTDA state hunt there this year. But it's a few hours for me. Now again, with the competition hunt, if I have if the next dog that I have and keep and I think it's just would naturally do well in the competitions, hey, we'll give it a shot. But there's just some things that I want my dog to do that may or may not be great in a competition setting, you know, like what? Like timbering squirrels. I want them to timber. I want my dog to tree a coon. Whether they're in a USDC hunt or just pleasure hunting, you know. Now, I know you don't get minus for it in a hunt, but if you got 10 grand on the line and your dog's treed on a coon, and these other dogs are trained on a squirrel, you're wasting time. And so I understand why guys, you know,
don't want that.
Don't want that. But for me, I do want that. So I'm not going to take that out just for the purpose of comp hunting. You know, I want an all-purpose game dog out of them. So yeah, that's. Like I said, again, if I have one that I think is, oh wow, this would be a travesty not to competition hunt them. Yeah, I would, you know, or put them in the hands of somebody that would. But I'm not there, you know. I'm an average Joe. I'm definitely not the top 1% of coon or squirrel dog world. I'm just a guy that loves it, and I'm learning along the way. I don't claim to know more than I do. You know, I get a lot of people because there's not a lot of dog guys around here.
No, there's not at all.
You know, so people come to me with a lot of questions and curious and stuff, and I just tell them, you know, I'll tell you what my experiences are. You know, but that's
all you can do.
Yeah, I'm by no means a top dog trainer, pup starter, comp hunter, those things.
You've started a few pups.
I've started a few,
and here lately you've had quite a few different hounds that you've started. And
yeah, I have. I don't know that I'm good at it though, to say, you know, I still think the ones that I did probably would have done better in somebody else's hands.
Okay.
As far as starting them out. Now, when it comes to just hunt, I'll hunt a dog as hard as anybody else will. You know, that's one thing I will go to the woods. We're going to go hunt. Dogs are not just going to sit in a kennel here. Yeah. You know, you're going to hunt. And there's no substitution for that, in my opinion, you know, experience.
100%.
So, you know, what I lack in knowledge or whatever, I think I try to make up for with effort.
And I think that goes a long way. There's a lot of people that all the knowledge in the world isn't going to make a dog if it never gets out of the kennel.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a lot of them out there that just wasted potential because you don't know. You don't know what it could have been if you don't hunt them. But you know, we can only control what we do with the ones in our kennel, and And the other thing is they are still dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still gonna do. They're gonna be dogs.
Yep.
The best dog in the world is gonna do silly things. They're
Yep.
gonna. And I used to get more excited about it than I do now. That goes back to my faith, though. I wasn't as faithful as I was years ago.
Yeah.
And it's changed. Everything in my life is being saved. But it's changed. And you probably think, what's this got to do with squirrel hunting? But it does. It changed my attitude towards the dogs, towards how I want to hunt, what I consider a success, all those things. But I took the pressure off of me, and it's just like, just go out and enjoy what the good Lord gave us, And He gave us these dogs, He gave us these squirrels, He gave us these woods, He gave us everything, And I just try to be a responsible steward and enjoy it and be grateful that we're able to do this. I'm grateful that I have the health to still be able to do it. There's a lot of guys who do this their whole life. They get old.
Yeah.
Life happens. It's got to be something hard to give up. So while I'm able to, I'm going to continue to do it and do what I can to try to better. The dogs, the breeds, whatever I'm hunting, I want it to do the best it can. But I don't want there to be so much pressure that it's not fun.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about these little meat dogs. It seems like they get more chance to shine, maybe if they don't do as well at night, they'll do good through the day or vice versa.
Yeah.
No,
I agree. And at the same point, if you're hunting the same dog day and night, you're giving it that much more opportunity to be successful. So
Sure. Yeah, they want to track and tree. I mean, that's pretty. From what I've seen, at least with Ellie, it doesn't matter if it's a house cat, a coon, or a squirrel. She's a squirrel dog by heart, but if it climbs a tree, man, she wants to bark at it, and I love it. I love it. We enjoy it.
I've walked into my fair share of house cats.
Yeah. Yeah, it don't matter. It don't bother me,
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't hurt them, but, we'll shine the tree. There'll be a cat. And
it was funny. I wasn't that far from here last spring coon hunting with a guy that has Lycas. He's been on the podcast, Cody, and we treat a cat. We start walking, we're like, oh, got him. And we get a little closer, and it's like, got something, but it ain't a coon. Big old house cat sitting there looking at us.
Yeah. That's one dog I've not ever hunted with is a Leica. I'm not real partial to it like a curly-tailed dog, but it doesn't matter. Performance is what matters, and I've heard there's some pretty good ones.
My biggest thing is I like a shorter-haired dog, so the long hair is what I'm not super keen on.
Right.
I've hunted with some. They are obviously good tree dogs and can tree you some game, but at the end of the day, I also gotta like what's in my kennel, and I don't want a long-haired dog. So
sure, yeah. Hey, it takes all kinds in this world, all kinds of people, all kinds of dogs, and I know some guys are, they're just dead set on this breed or that breed. And, hey, and that's fine, you know. I love them all, really, but I just know what kind of works for me and what.
Almost all.
Yeah.
I don't think I can get on board with the overgrown beagles.
Oh yeah,
I'm just not a walker man. I can hunt with them, and if you want to keep a walker, that's fine. I just don't think you're ever going to find one in my kennel.
Yeah, I've had a couple. They've been decent, but the reasons they didn't work out here not because they were walkers, probably because they were males, and the one was just really big. But I like to keep females. Mm-hmm. I like female dogs. I prefer even with the hounds. I like the smaller bloodlines. With my blue ticks. They're Smoky River bred. I think the biggest, heaviest I've ever had one is like 60 pounds, and that was on the heavy end of them. Typically, they're walking around at 50, 50 couple pounds. That's and that's about as big as I need, you know. And that's for the hounds.
Yeah.
Now with the cur, with Ellie, you know, she looks more like a feist, and most people think she is a feist.
I remember the first time I came over here, you're like, "Are you sure that dog's actually a cur?" I'm like, yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Mike doesn't have any feist in the kennel. Nothing got to her.
No, but you know, if it would have, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just not that guy. She might be getting bred to a feist. You know, she is going to be bred her next heat, which could be any day now, and that's just the direction I'm going to go. So the plan is I moved my last hound pup. He's going to be a bear dog, and I think he's better suited for it. And my plan here is to breed her. I want to keep the females. I would like to put the males in the hands of people that'll, you know, hunt them and give them a shot, and then and just go from there. We'll see. You know, once I make that first cross with her and then hunt the pups, then I'll kind of see where I need to go. I do want to. She's got a couple faults that, you know, were probably man-made. But I definitely want to breed to make her better. You know. Again, she's not a world beater, but she's a good, solid tree dog, and in my opinion, definitely worthy to be bred, and with the right cross could hopefully produce some pretty good pups. And
For sure.
That's going to be the foundation. She's going to be the foundation of whatever my line of dogs ends up being.
Okay.
Is going to start with her. She proved herself to me, you know.
Yeah.
We talked about this earlier about what is a good dog. And everybody's got their own opinion on a good dog. And I said, do you enjoy hunting your dog? And if the answer is yes, you got a good dog.
Yeah.
If you don't enjoy it, it's okay, but it's not a good dog for you, you know. Yeah. She's a good dog for me. I can take her just about anywhere. She'll hunt any time of day. She'll hunt. She gets along well with other dogs. She does well here, at the house, in the house if I bring her in, you know. But she suits me. Yeah. And her style of hunting does well around where I live in these Appalachian Mountains. So
that's what matters.
Yeah, you know, success is just such a weird word, you know. It's open to interpretation, you know. People, or good success might not be the right word, but what a good dog is, you know, for you might not be for me, you know, and vice versa. And I used to fall when the years I've come to this conclusion, because I was on the other end of it. I was just trying to, you know, social media, you see everybody, this dog's not 8 months old, doing this, doing that, and then you comparing, and it's like, oh man, my dog must be a color this or that. And I was that way with dogs before, and that I don't have that mentality anymore. I just don't. I'm happy for other people, what their dogs are doing, what they're winning, if they're just pleasure dogs, whatever. I'm happy for you. A good dog is what makes me happy here. Yeah. You know?
No, I think that's a great mindset to have, and I think everybody at some point slips up with that, and even if it's not social media, comparing to your buddies or comparing to some other dog that you got to hunt with or whatever, you know, comparing what you have, and it's like, you know, okay, maybe what you have isn't the best, but how do you get better? Is it you? Is it breeding better hounds? Is it buying a better hound? Like, you know, if it's not, and like you said, if it doesn't make you happy, then move it down the road to somebody that it will make happy. And even if that's to somebody that it's going to go live on their couch, you know?
Yeah.
And then go find a dog that'll make you happy, because there's no sense in feeding a dog that doesn't make you happy.
No, I mean, we do this because we enjoy it. You know, I mean, I know some guys do it for a job, and that maybe it's different for them, you know, but this is it's a lifestyle for me, but it's also a hobby. It's a lot of things, and if I'm not gonna have fun doing, I'm not saying there's not work involved or there's bad days or it is. It's not, every day is not gonna be, especially when you're raising pup, starting them from a pup. And again, they're dogs. They're gonna do things that are gonna frustrate you. They're gonna eat things they shouldn't. They're gonna, they're gonna do great until you have company, and then they're gonna make you look stupid, But in the big scheme of things, you got to enjoy it, or why are you doing it, know? And you could have a dog, just say for a squirrel to go out and tree 30 squirrels on the out, make 30 trees, and you see 25 squirrels, but you might not be able to stand that dog and any other, it's just, it's not a good dog for you.
Conkeys Outdoors is proud to be a sponsor of Tree Talking Time. Family, hunting, tradition is the Conkeys motto. They understand the importance of passing down the tradition of hound hunting. They are a family-owned business that treats you like family. They also understand the importance of having the gear you need when you need it. Conkeys carries everything for your next hunt, and it ships to your door quick. They also offer great warranties on all tracking systems and financing options. Check them out at conkeys.com. You can also use the code TreeTalkingTime5 in all caps to save as well.
First and foremost, I don't care what a dog does in the woods. If I can't live with it at the house, it ain't staying.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You're at the house a whole lot more than we are in the woods.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so,
yeah, they got to be well rounded. I mean, I don't, because I do bring mine in sometimes. I have kennels. They live outside. They have nice kennels and nice houses under roof. But I do socialize them. Mine will come in at night sometimes. You're right. They need to be good at home. They need to be good in the house. If I'm gonna travel, I need to be good in the truck.
Yep.
And she is all those things for me. Good to me.
That's what matters.
Yeah. So I've just decided that's what I'm going to build on, and we'll see where it goes.
I'm looking forward to seeing the progression of your kennel now, and kind of, I know we've talked a lot over the last couple of years of which direction you wanted to go, and me and you've discussed some different potential male dogs that you'd want to breed to, and different lines of dogs, and so I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. As far as the direction of the kennel, when we talked before, it'd be great for me to be able to just have coon hounds and squirrel dogs and beagles and this and that. But you get too many irons in a fire. For me, some guys can do this, but I'm pretty involved in my church. I have a job, full-time job. A wife, family. Yeah. So I want to be able to devote the time to make that dog as good as I can.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that with too many dogs.
No.
In my opinion, unless you're some of these big guys that have other people that will hunt dogs for them and help them. Well, I don't really have that.
No.
So when my dogs go hunting, I'm taking them hunting. Yeah. Well, I can't hunt all night for coon, and then hunt all day for squirrel, and then go rabbit hunting, or the dogs aren't getting a fair shake.
Yeah. So
I just decided that's why I'm going with the Kerr-Feist meat dog, because then I get a little bit the best of every world. I can have one dog that I can do all of those things with. So that's the reasoning behind that.
I'm right there with you. Like I said, I've talked about it on this podcast. I'm trying to get some young dogs started on some squirrels, so that way I can do that. I've historically just coon hunted my dogs, so I don't know. I guess I've never even tried to really take my older dogs out. Well, at least the ones I have now. The one older female I did, and she'd tree dentry after dentry. Just never made a squirrel dog, but so that's why I'm trying with some young dogs. See if we can start them on some squirrel, and then we'll transition to coon. I don't think coon are going to be a problem, so it's
right.
Let's treat some squirrels first.
Right. Yeah. Well, Ellie's got days like that too. I mean, and it depends on the time of the year when it comes to the dentries. This morning, I don't know how many trees we made. 8, 9 trees this morning. I saw 3 on the outside this morning. Knocked one of them out to her. Now here lately, that's on the low end of her percentage. There's a lot of acorns around here right now, so they don't have to go far from the dens, and there's leaves on the tree. We probably had a couple more on the outside this morning.
We just couldn't see.
We couldn't see, but You get days like that, and it's usually when you got company. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
But then there's times I'll take her out and she'll make 10 trees and we'll see 8 of them.
Yeah.
Now I don't ever shoot all of them. I only give her 1 or 2. I don't think I've ever given her more than 4 in a trip that I can remember. I might. I've shot a limit out to her once, I think. But anyways,
we're not down south where they're just ate up with squirrels either. Like, we have squirrels, but
yeah,
not like you hear about LBL, you hear about the Delta, where these people go and kill like truckloads, and then turn around the next year and they kill truckloads, and it's like, we're not like that.
No. And well, you got to look at the vegetation too, where you're in the environment you're hunting. Like you saw where we're hunting this morning. Every tree has a hole, a nest, or one touch in it.
Yeah.
So are you gonna see every one you tree? Probably not. We have a fair amount of squirrels here. We have foxes and grays. Way more grays than fox squirrels. But she, like I said, she hunts with her nose predominantly. If she sees a squirrel, she'll follow it.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not looking for them. She's not listening for them. She hunts with her nose.
Yeah.
And with that, you're gonna, if the squirrel goes inside of a hole,
yeah,
if it's in that hole, I would still want my dog to tree on the, don't just bark because you can see it.
Yeah,
that's just what I want.
A sight dog, you're gonna make so fewer trees with a sight only dog, which I don't think there's a ton of sight only tree dogs, but I've heard numerous stories where people had a dog that just started sight treeing squirrels, and that's how they got into all this. Obviously a lot of times they don't stick with a sight only dog, but
right.
Because on a good day, sure, a sight dog it'll tree and mess with squirrels in the middle of the winter time.
Yeah.
On a good day, yeah. But on a bad day, you're never gonna. Or right now, when there's leaves on, you're.
Yeah. Good luck.
You're not gonna tree many.
No. And I've never hunted with a dog that's a sight trained dog, so I don't even know what the experience is.
I've hunted with a good feist, and she. Now, don't get me wrong. She used her nose too, but she would. She would use her eyes a good bit. Like, she'd stop, she'd look, she'd listen. And then she'd take off through the woods because she heard something or saw something, and then run down there and tree squirrel.
So that's part of the reason why I'm considering a feist too.
Mm-hmm.
Just to breed those traits, because then you get a very well-rounded dog.
Yeah. Nose,
eyes, ears. That's great. You can't go wrong. But there's some really good stud dogs out there.
That's for sure.
I know that Boone dog. He's a good solid dog. He might be he's a tree and cur.
Mm-hmm.
He might be a little bigger than what I need as a stud dog. I like him. Todd Coles has some great feists that I think would probably cross good with her.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good dogs. So I'm not dead set on one particular breed.
Yeah.
Now, she won't be bred to a hound. She's too small. And
you've looked at, today we've talked about mountain curs, tree curs, and a feist.
Correct.
So, you're not dead set on anything. You're looking for what's the best, dog for that's going to produce what I'm looking for. So
absolutely. And I've talked to some of the owners of some of these stud dogs just to make sure they would be willing to.
Yeah.
Originally, when the plan was to maybe just breed her to another original mountain cur.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not off the table either.
Yeah.
But I just haven't decided. But she's definitely getting bred. And I'm definitely looking for a male that's going to complement what she lacks,
Yeah.
Or not even that she lacks, just bring more to the table,
mm-hmm.
And where I'm not going to know until I have those pups on the ground. But she's never been bred. She's never had a litter of pups. So, it could be a bust. It could be not. But we're going to find out. And
I heard a guy say, this is on a different podcast, wasn't even on mine. He goes, the only crosses I ever regret making, or the only crosses I regret, are the ones I didn't make. He's like, at the end of the day, if cross doesn't work out, he goes, it doesn't work out. he's like, you can call dogs, they can become somebody's pet.
Right.
They don't have to make it. He's like, but he said there's crosses that I've made, and he goes, maybe other people wouldn't have made them. He line breeds in a real tight line of dogs, and so sometimes, like I said, he is willing to make crosses that other people wouldn't.
Right.
But he's like, some of those crosses have produced some of the best dogs I've ever owned. So.
Well, I know that, I shouldn't say I know. I've read a lot about it and talked to guys, and I know they say there's a science to looking at these papers and, at the aunt to niece or however they do it. They study this, and I'm not educated enough on that. So I'm still learning a lot of things, man, and that's one thing that with me you'll find. I don't mind picking up the phone, calling somebody, and you don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
And I will tell them, hey, I don't know what I'm doing here, but this is the end goal that I'm trying to get to. This is what I got. What do you think? So I'm learning, and that goes to, there's no bad cross because you learn. As long as you learn,
Yep.
Then you'll make a better choice the next time. But
Exactly.
You can breed world champ to world champ and end up with
nothing.
So is there? Yeah, there's probably a science behind it, but there's a whole lot of
there's
guessing.
A lot of science. But if you talk to people that have bred dogs for a long time, as much science as there is, it's just as much of an art. Like, you have to have a feel for it. You have to know your dogs. You have to be able to know what's going to cross well. You talk to people that make, like I said, that have been breeding dogs for a long time, and it's like, there's just as much science, because like you said, you can study papers all you want. That doesn't guarantee you anything.
Nope.
I forget who I was talking to, but he was saying, he goes, I made a cross. He goes, it was probably the best cross I ever made on paper. He goes, puppies didn't amount to anything. He goes, a couple of them made like mediocre dogs, but he's like, nothing. He goes, and other times he goes, you make a cross, and he's like, you thought, obviously made it because you thought it might work, but he's like, on paper, it wasn't like going to be the superstars, right? And he goes, and sure enough, it's the one that produced the superstars. So,
yeah,
sometimes an outcross is what you need, and those outcrosses are, you have a fairly tight bred female, so an outcross on the right male dog, you could just strike lightning with.
Good.
So yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a gamble, but one that I think she's a good enough dog that it's worth taking. At least here,
Yep.
If I got pups that were just like her, not better, not worse, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
And they would still probably end up being better dogs than her, just because I'll have learned more. I know more now. Just learning. Experience. It's so we'll see. That I definitely want to. I want this way of life to survive.
Yeah.
I want people to realize how much fun it is out there with these little dogs, and you hear stories all the time about guys that talking. You tell them you squirrel hunt or you coon hunt, and everybody has a grandfather did it or grew up doing it.
Yep.
Or I haven't been squirrel hunting in this many years. I used to love it. And I said, well, why don't you? They're plentiful. Who don't like a dog?
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't say there's people that don't, but
most people do.
Yeah. You want to get kids in the woods?
Yeah.
Take them with a squirrel dog. Take them to the woods with a squirrel. They don't have to be quiet. They don't have to sit still. You don't have to worry about your scent. You're going to get a lot of action, whether you catch dens or squirrels on the outside. You're gonna go to the tree. And what I love about these meat dogs is you might not know what you're going to get up the tree.
Yep.
Just like you guys treat a cat. Ellie's bayed bear.
There you go.
Yeah. That was I'll tell you what happened. She was she a year old then? She might have been a little over a year. And I was hunting her at night on coon. And in hindsight, where I had parked, I had smelled carcasses, but I didn't think nothing of it. It's deer season, people dump in the woods. And I'd cut her loose. We went in. The first tree she made, she treed a possum. Next tree, pull her off. She cut her loose again, recast her. She trees a coon and a den, but I can see it. It's looking at me. So she's pretty young then. I thought, I want to end this on a good note. Good girl. Patted her up. We're going back to the truck, and I didn't have to leash her up. And we were so close to the truck that I was using my clicker to unlock it, and I could see the lights on the truck. She's probably 20 yards from me, and she just, rah, 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 rah. I thought, whoa. And I look, and 20 yards from her, yet I see eyes, and I'm like, that don't look like deer's eyes to me. Just something didn't seem right. And I get my spotlight on it, and well, there she's got a bear, and I'm like, Ellie, no, I didn't want her backing it up. He's not climbing, he's not running, he's nothing. He's just standing there.
Yeah.
And I said, no, Ellie, come. And that bear made like 3 bounds towards her. It's amazing how fast they move and how much ground they can cover in a short period of time. And it broke left, and then, and she wanted to get after it, and I was like, no, I was pretty shook at that. I mean, it's a different experience when you have a bear charge at you. I come home, I told my wife, I said, whatever they tell you to do when a bear charges, I said, I'm pretty sure I didn't do it. I don't know what I just did. I'm like, she said, what do you mean it charged? I said, well, it charged. Got bear here, Ellie here, me here, and
ran towards her,
and
you just happened to be behind her.
And I'm like, wow, and she's actually in coon hunting. She's run bear before here too, but just never got them treed, and I'd pull her off the track. But it's fun, coon, possum, cats, squirrels, bears. you don't know what you're gonna get, and so a lot of guys don't want that. They don't. That's not what they want, And I get it, but for me, I do.
I do try to limit the possums.
I try to, but if you're hunting a young cur or feist at night,
no, a young dog, I don't care.
She's a year old and she has, I could have knocked it out to her. We didn't. But I didn't scold her either.
Yeah,
I just leashed her up.
Yep.
Get going, and then she trees a coon.
Honestly, a possum. I had a leopard years ago, and that's what flipped the switch for him. Now he didn't have a whole lot of drive, and he just didn't want to hunt. But he had never treated anything. One night, he treated a possum. It was like 10 foot off the ground, and you would have thought a whole different dog. I was hoping it would really flip the switch for him. Now he would tree after that,
right?
But he just didn't want to go out and hunt, which is why he didn't stay at my place.
Yeah.
But so I've seen where a possum came in handy.
Yeah.
And actually kind of got a dog tree, and just because he could see it so easily.
Sure. Yeah, and like you said, you can't. He would tree, but he wouldn't go out and hunt. Trying to put drive into a dog that doesn't have it. I don't know. Maybe some guys can do it. I don't know how.
I don't either.
If you got the secret, please tell me.
Yeah.
But Ellie has the drive. That dog wants to hunt.
Yeah.
She's not without faults, but she wants to hunt. And that's number one for me. You want to do your job.
Yeah.
We can work on
you can build on a lot of things after that.
Exactly. But to make a dog have drive, to want to, I've had some that just I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And okay.
No, you talk to even a lot of big competition hunters. You can correct a lot of things. You can work on a lot of things. You can get dogs to tree better. You can't put heart and drive in a dog.
No, I'm a firm believer in that too.
So
I've seen guys, that can even make a dog tree that don't want to naturally tree. You can get a dog to bark at something up a tree.
Yep.
But does that relate to taking them to the woods in a real life hunting scenario, unsnapping them, and them going and treeing the game that you want, just because they'll bark at it because you in a controlled? No, I'm sure that's a great tool to use to get a dog going, but if they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it. And she absolutely wants to do it. and that's why, it's one of the several reasons why I definitely think she's worthy to be bred. She's an early starter. I guess that's early for the breed. I know that's considered early for hounds if they're treating their own game at 4 months old.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, she's opened up my eyes to the world of. She's changed my whole outlook on tree dogs and what I want, what makes me happy.
Yep.
And she's made hunting with tree dogs. It was always fun for me, but she's made it more fun and less work because I took the pressure off. I just want to have fun with it, and man, I wish more guys would do that.
Yep.
I do, because you see a lot of ugliness in the sport.
For sure.
And it's every sport, but
it doesn't matter what you're doing. Yeah.
I don't want to get that. I don't want to get to that. It's not what the good Lord wants from us. That's not what we want. There's no fun in that. If it's all pride and ego, you're not going to have fun forever, because you're not going to stay at the top forever. You're not going to have good dogs all the time. You got to enjoy it, and the dog's got to enjoy it too. So that's another thing is I try to make sure she has fun, even when she has days that she didn't do, didn't perform as good as the next day. I believe in correcting the dog, but I don't believe in overdoing it. You got to understand that they are still dogs.
Yeah.
They just are still dogs. And so many people want the dog to think like a person.
And they don't.
They don't. Will. It's a lot easier for you to try to think like the dog than to expect the dog to think like you.
Yeah.
We comprehend a lot different than they do. And that was definitely something that I learned, because I didn't always have that mindset. I used to didn't think that. I was so,
Yeah.
Patience, you got to have fun, and just understand that they are still dogs, and they are bred to be gamey. So they're not machines. They're going to have good days. They're going to have bad days. But if you don't make it fun for them, why would they want to please you?
Exactly.
And just a disclaimer here: everything that I'm saying is just from my own experience.
Oh, yeah.
I am not an expert on. Trust me, most of the people that probably listening to this, that squirrel hunt, they might know different than me or know more than me or whatever. I'm only sharing my experience and my thoughts.
No, but I think you've got some really good understanding of your dogs, and what you've shared with me. I agree with a lot of it. So
yeah. And when you're pleasure hunting, when it's pleasure hunting first.
Yeah.
And then competitions that, kind of an afterthought, your mindset can change a little bit. I think because of the pressure comes off, and then it's just, did you have fun? Okay, that was a good day.
Yep.
Then you got a good dog. It doesn't have to win. It doesn't have to. Do I think she could have? There's days where she looks like a world champ out there.
Yep.
I do think she's kind of a one-person dog, though.
Oh, even when she trees, I think it's funny. She looks at you.
Yeah.
I'm over here trying to take a picture of the dog, and she's like looking away from me. I'm like 3 feet away from this dog.
Yeah.
You're 30 feet away looking up the tree, and she could care less that I am there. She is looking at you.
Yeah, she's proud. Yeah, I think she's proud. And I sometimes, like today, when we get in some of these dens, and it's like, or we think some of these trees had squirrels in them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times that's when she's looking at me. She's like, "No, Dad, it's there."
Yeah.
And but it's warm this morning, and I won't let her. She don't like the heat. She gets hot quick. So I'm not gonna have her treeing for
super long.
Yeah. For 25 minutes for Come on, we'll go get another one. We'll get another one.
Exactly.
In a competition setting, I get that. That'd be different.
Well, even then, you only get 8 minutes.
Yeah, you only get 8 minutes. Yeah. So, But yeah, she's definitely a daddy's girl. We'll say
For
that.
sure.
She and I'm sure that makes me partial to her too. I mean, everybody probably thinks not everybody, but a lot of people probably think their dog might be better than they are, or some think they're not as good as maybe they're better than you think they are. I don't think that anything. I just think that she's a good, solid tree dog.
I think you are very realistic.
Yeah.
You 100% are. When we talk about her, and I've seen her go a couple times. You're 100% realistic.
Yeah.
You understand what her faults are. You're willing to admit them. You're willing to admit that some of that's you, especially because, like, the first time I hunted with her was a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
She was very loose on the tree.
Yep.
Since you started tying her, and you've seen a huge improvement on her, how tight she stays to a tree.
Yep.
And, you make it a habit of tying her so that way it doesn't become an issue again, you know?
Yeah.
So like the little things like that, you've seen an improvement. You've seen where you've messed up.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really a her problem. Like,
no, not at all. And part of that was just my lack of understanding of the breeds too, because I was so used to just hounds, and when they get hooked, they're belly up on the wood and breath for breath and burr, burr, they're.
Yep.
I'm sure there's hounds that'll leave the tree. I've never had one. Mm-hmm. Every hound I've had, once they tree, they're hooked. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
They'll be there tomorrow if you leave them.
Mm-hmm.
Not the case with these little dogs. Maybe
there's
some.
There's some that are, and there's a lot of ones that.
But
aren't.
I think generally though, they're probably going to be a little more loose than a hound to start. And that's something that I wasn't even aware of. I just went in feet first and.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, and that's why I say if she has a litter of pups that are no better or no worse, they're just same qualities. If you replicate her and put her in my hands now, they're still going to end up being a better dog than she is. Just because of my own experience and knowledge now.
But that's 100% what you need. Like, if you're not happy owning that dog again, you shouldn't breed it.
Absolutely not. I agree.
Like you said, sometimes they don't, as much as you try to make breed for better dogs, it doesn't always happen. So at least the bare minimum is you should be happy with getting what you have again.
Sure. Oh yeah. I see. Yeah. If that dog doesn't satisfy you, absolutely don't breed it. Yeah, I agree. I'm breeding for my own purposes though too, as a foundation. It's not for anybody else.
But I think what you want is not crazy. I think what you want is what a lot of pleasure hunters want. You want a good pleasure dog that can tree coon and squirrel.
Yep.
I don't think that's anything. You're not breeding for something that's abnormal, that's super specialized. I think there's a lot of guys that would be happy with Ellie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No doubt about it. Like,
especially on her best days, it's her best days. She's phenomenal. I mean, it's but like you said, you never know what you're going to get. I mean, I've seen in the hound world, you see these all grand pups.
Yeah,
they don't all make it.
No,
now how do you can't almost on paper you can't almost breed them any better than that.
Yeah.
As far as titles and all that goes, I mean, if it's all grand, that means every single dog.
Yep.
Was somewhat of a coon dog.
You would certainly.
Yeah.
I would venture to say that you can make a night champion, not with a Me Too dog. That doesn't really need to be much of a coon dog.
Yeah.
You start getting into grand. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's getting harder.
Yeah.
Just because your caliber of dog's going up.
Sure. Yeah, so, I agree.
It's a lot harder to beat a bunch of night champions than it is a bunch of registered dogs.
Oh, registered cast, yeah.
So,
but the underlying point's the same. You can breed world champion to world champion and end up with calls. You could breed two no-name dogs and end up with
the next world champion.
The next world champion. But again, so in tree dogs, we talked about this earlier too when we were hunting, is That's the great thing about this sport is that anybody can get in for the most part. Like if you look at horses in some other sports, if you want to go get a foal out of two big name horses, you're getting into hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
The average Joe doesn't even get a shot. If you want to be a competition hunter or you just want dogs out of the best coon dogs in the country, your average working man can afford to go get a pup and at least have a fair shot. Right.
And I mean, a pup out of some world champions might cost you a couple $1,000s.
Right.
But still, if it's what you really want, a couple $1,000s is not life-changing money. It's not $1 million. It's not $100,000, you know.
Right. It's doable.
Yeah.
It's for most people, and I'm not. So if you can't do that, I'm not knocking. I'm just saying it's a far cry from. If you take the best of any other sport and try to
bring it to the
general, but most people can't even get their foot in the door.
Yeah.
You can't afford it. And in the tree dog world, whether it's curs, feist, hounds, I don't care what you're hunting, the working man has a fair shot. You know, I can go.
Well, and even if you don't have the best, you know, going and buying dogs out of world champions, you can. If you have a good enough dog, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, like Ellie, like neither one of her Razor's titled, but like her mother is not a titled dog or whatever. You know, it's not like she's a well-bred dog, don't get me wrong, but it's not like she's an all-grand pedigree type thing.
Right.
And you could go in, if you would have geared her towards competition hunts and trained her for that purpose, I'm sure she would go out there and win her fair share.
Sure.
You know? So a dog that was just a run-of-the-mill mountain cur puppy that nothing special, you know, decent bloodline of dogs as far as papers and whatever. And, you know, here she is a solid squirrel dog. And if you would have wanted to, you could have definitely made her a competition dog.
Yeah. That's it. It makes it a blue collar sport because anybody can do it. Yep. Anybody can get in there, provided you know, you got the health and the time to do it. But I find it very appealing. That's one of the reasons that I do is anybody can do it. You know.
Yeah.
You hear the big names, the Alan Franklins, the Todd Coles and stuff in the squirrel dog world. You got in the hound dog world the Stricklands,
Randy Smith.
Yeah, Randy Smith and this stuff. It's you can get a dog off. You can get their bloodlines. You can.
Well, I've got a good friend that has a dog came straight from Randy. You know, and she is 10 years old. Last week we had a competition hunt. She has not been out. He's a farmer. He has not had her out since last April. We had poor turnout, and he's like, there was one other night champion. So he's like, well, if I got to go, I'm going to go get this dog out of the kennel. She has not been out since April. She turned around and she won the cast.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
12 or 11 or something like that.
Wow.
She's come out. She treated a couple coon. Nothing flashy. She's just consistent.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That just goes, they don't forget, you know, and if it's in them, they'll do it. But it's become a way of life for me.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people call it a hobby. It's not for me. It's not, even though I'm a pleasure hunter, it's still more than that to me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you've been in my house, in my living room, in my, if you walk in my house, it's clear that we live and breathe for tree dogs here.
Yeah.
And,
the artwork on the wall, you've got mounts, you know, you've got dog crates in your living room, like
leashes everywhere.
Yeah, like
kennels out back.
It's clear it's a way of life for you.
Yeah, and I don't want it to disappear. You know,
100%.
I don't want it to disappear, and I feel like these smaller dogs are a great. Let's say somebody gets into squirrel hunting or something, and you want to go into the hounds. it's a great way to get kids into the woods with dogs in general.
Yeah.
And then you go in the back end of, let's say you're a coon hunter most of your life, you're getting old.
It's harder at night to walk around. A lot of times you can't see it nearly as well at night.
So then you go the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
You go into the squirrel dog or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a smaller dog. It's a,
Yep.
yeah, they hunt closer. They're not going as deep generally. I mean, it's, I know there's exceptions to all these things,
Oh, yeah.
but as a rule, so I just think it's great. I think it's a way of life that needs to be preserved.
Yep.
And I think it's just a great positive thing for kids, especially, to get them off their phones, get them off the computer, out of the house, get them into the woods, make them good stewards teaches them a lot. Yeah, when you got to care for a dog, it teaches you responsibility. It does a lot of good things for kids, and I would love to, if I breed Ellie and there's a kid, if I got a pup that that's not sold or something, and there's a kid that I think will be responsible, you're not paying me for this pup, here you go.
Yeah.
Hunt it.
Exactly.
That's where I'm at with
Paying
it.
it forward. So
I would absolutely do that. Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you inviting me to come hunt with you today and recording this podcast. Unfortunately, I do got to hit the road. I got to head home. We got some family pictures tonight.
I know a good photographer.
I don't.
Yeah, no, his name's Ben Sheets, but I guess it'd be a selfie then if you're doing it.
He takes good pictures of dogs. That's about it.
Yeah, well, he does do that.
So, well, I really appreciate it, Corey.
Hey, thank you, Ben.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Tree Talkin' Media. And until next time, keep them talking in the timber.